Once you have thrown your bowl and it's set for about a day, it should be leather hard. And the final step is trimming. Now, the first step in trimming is to evaluate your pot. See how thick it is on the bottom, along the sides. See how much you have to trim. Once you have that determined, then we put it upside down. And I'm going to put it way off center to demonstrate how we get the pot ready to be centered. Now you can see that this pot's off center by the way it's hitting my finger at just one space. That's the closest part. Then we push it a little bit forward. Do the same thing. When it hits my finger, a little bit more. And we're almost there. And right here, it's on center. It's touching my finger all the way around. It's not wobbling back and forth. So now we know it's on center. Now you can tap to get it on center as you get more proficient when you trim, but that's the easier and more controlled way of getting it on center, just with your finger stationary and moving it a little bit each time until you get closer and closer until it's on center. Once it's on center, we need to attach it to the wheel, and unlike a wet piece of clay, for this we're going to push little balls of clay, which I call chucks, in place to make sure the bowl or the pot doesn't move as you trim. We can make sure it's nice and snug. All right. As we start trimming, I'll be demonstrating as a left-hander because I'm left-handed. You will probably be using your right hand, so you'll need to make some adjustments. But what we're after is to have the outside contour match the inside contour of the bowl or the pot, and then take off enough off the bottom to give it a nice foot. So the first step, let me see if I can raise this up a little bit and a little bit more at an angle. The first step that I'm going to do is establish where my foot's going to be. I can tell I need to be a little bit closer here. Okay? So here's my foot on the outside. Okay? And the inside of my foot is right here, with this eventually being the portion or the foot that touches the tabletop or shelf. We're going to take the clay out of here to make it nice and even and flat. And see how I'm holding my hands together so I have more control? Take a little bit at a time. And some people like to use the small loop tools. Some people like to use a little bit wider loop tools, or you can do a combination of both. So right there I've established the inside of the foot. Now I'm going to take off the extra clay and make the contour of the outside match the contour of the inside. And when you trim, you want to trim in control, so you're taking off a little bit each time around. And we're eventually getting a nice rounded contour to to the outside of the bowl. That will match the inside contour. Just like so. We're getting close. Again, I'm going to change tools just a little bit. And you can either use a chamois, or I like to use my fingers to really condense the clay on the foot to make it nice and smooth. And you can do the same thing on the side of your pot. You add a little bit more moisture if it's really pretty hard bone dry. And then either with your fingers, or sometimes I like to use the trusty metal rib. So right there we have the trimmed bowl. As we take the chucks off of the bowl, we can see that the contour on the inside of the pot and the contour of the outside of the pot matches. Has a nice foot in which it only touches where the foot is on the tabletop, and that is a nicely trimmed bowl.